Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the motion I am about to move reads as follows. Need to investigate the evasion of tax by Stallion Group under the new National Rice Development Policy. The House notes a report in the Daily Trust newspaper of June the 2nd, 2015, that the Stallion Group has been making efforts since late 2014 to evade payment of 17 billion naira import duty imposed on them by the Nigerian Customs Service for exceeding their 2014 rice import quota under the dual tariff system. Aware that a new quota for rice millers under the National Rice Development Policy was approved by the former President Goodluck Jonathan on 28th May 2015, his very last day in office, ostensibly to facilitate the evasion of payment of tax by Stallion Group. Also aware that the new quota which was approved by former President Jonathan, based on the recommendation of the Inter-Ministerial Committee, which reviewed the policy to facilitate the evasion of such import duty, was conveyed to the Nigerian Customs Service on same 28th May 2015 by the former Minister of State for Finance, Ambassador Bashir Yuguda. Further, aware that the meeting of Inter-Ministerial Committee held on May 14, 2015, which renewed the national rice policy, was chaired by former Vice President Namadi Sambo and was attended by top government functionaries, including 3 former Ministers of Finance, National Planning, Industry, Trade and Investment. Cognizant that the same Inter-Ministerial Committee adopted a new national rice supply gap of 782,000 metric tons and allocated quotas to 16 existing millers, including Mascot Agro, which was hurriedly registered as a subsidiary of Stallion Group since the Popular Food of the main company was blacklisted by the Nigerian Customs Service for non-payment of excess duty. The staff that when the Nigerian Customs Service shut down the warehouses of Stallion Group over non-payment of such duty, the presidency ordered the Customs Authority to reopen them pending the resolution of the matter. Worried about the fact that Stallion Group evaded payment of 15 billion naira duty arising from its having imported 475,000 metric tons of rice over and above its 2014 quota of 89,939 metric tons of rice through Mascot Agro, which was not a recognized rice miller without any quota allocation in 2014. Also worried that while 3 other companies, Rexon Farms, Atapi Rice Industry, and Arewa Rice Mill paid their duties to the Nigerian Customs Service, the Stallion Group still refused to pay and even determined to use the additional quotas granted through its subsidiary, Mascot Agro, to further evade payment of new customs duty. Regrets that if this matter is not thoroughly investigated in furtherance of the current government's anti-corruption stance, a wrong precedent would have been set, which could encourage similar acts in the future by other private corporate entities. The House resolves to mandate the Committee on Customs and Excise, when constituted, to investigate the matter and make appropriate recommendations to the House within 2 weeks. I so move.
I'm coming under Order 9, Rule 7. It shall be out of order, if I may read with due respect. It shall be out of order to use offensive and insulting language on members of the House. Also coming under...
Sorry, is that related to the motion that the Honorable Faruk just moved? Okay.
Chapter 2, Rule 7 of our Code of Conduct, 2011. Members shall desist from using derogatory, discriminatory, gender-insensitive words or speech that may be construed as offensive or resort to assault or physical combat on the floor of the House or elsewhere. I'm referring to the averment made by my honorable colleague, his second averment, to the effect that he said that aware that a new quota for rice millers under the National Rice Development Policy was approved by former President Goodluck Jonathan on 28 May 2015, his last day in office, ostensibly to facilitate the evasion of payment of tax by Stallion Group. I feel with due respect, this is derogatory to our former president and is impugning ill motive to what he did in his official capacity. So I humbly urge that my honorable colleague should withdraw this statement because it is an investigatory motion and he has already made about 8 averments as to what transpires. And I also want to say that the Chairman Rules and Business should try to confine, urge our colleagues to confine themselves to very little averments, to just tell us what the motion is about, and not to be putting all the facts that were otherwise said in your lead debate, so that we make progress fast. Thank you. That's my point of order, sir.
57 sub rule 7 by my friend Honorable Aminu Shagari, I believe is absolutely not relevant in this case because it reads, it shall be out of order to use offensive and insulting language on members of the House. And to buttress his point, he talked about the averment in paragraph 2. There was no impute or insulting language on any member of the House.
Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it.